Good morning, beautiful people. It's very rare for me to come on a Sunday morning to do a live for the full moon. However, sitting here having my morning cup, and I thought it would be a good time to just talk a little bit about this full moon. So if you've been curious about this upcoming full moon, if you've been feeling the vibes last night, hello, if you're just joining. Oh, it looks like Sunday morning is a great time to come on here. Maybe you're having your morning cup, maybe it's past that time for you. Cancer moon and a Cancer moon. Okay, you have a Cancer moon, I'm guessing you're saying. Hi everyone, hi Jeremy. Okay, so let's talk about this full moon because it's emotional, it's deep. So one of the things, this Cancer moon, it's a full moon. I should probably open my planner to have all the details. Oh, yes. If you have a Cancer moon, yeah, I'm guessing you're feeling this then. Okay, so it's January 17th, 27 degrees of Cancer. You want to look at where that's happening in your chart. And then, really important, I talked about in my last video, which was about Mercury retrograde. We really want to be looking at those end degrees of Capricorn. We have been having a lot of energy there for the last 2 years. We're going to continue to have that energy until Pluto moves out of Capricorn, which is in 2023. I hope I have that right. I believe so. So wham, bam, in that end degrees of Capricorn house, Pluto is about unearthing, uncovering uncomfortable material from the collective, from society. One of the things that I'm feeling, I have my Mercury exact at 27 degrees of Cancer. One of the things I'm processing and feeling is how the things that happen collectively in society, war, high taxes, certain, protocols, certain rules, certain regulations, certain things that affect the people. The moon collectively is the sign of the people, which makes sense. It's emotional, it's personal. And Pluto is this lord of the underworld. He's uncovering all the dirty, nitty, gritty stuff from underneath the collective, those rules and regulations, the government, the politics, all of the things that affect the people. And with this full moon, to me, what it feels deeply to me to be about is how those collective rules and regulations and things affect the family, affected your grandparents, affected your great-grandparents, affected your parents, affect your children. Cancer is the most personal. It's the tribe. It's blood. It's thicker than water. It is what we care most about when it comes down to it. It is that knowing as a mother that you would lay your life on the line for your children. It is, I can feel the emotion as I'm speaking. It is that thing that's bigger than government, that's bigger than rules and regulations and putting down the man. It is the man. And it's not the man, it's the government is the man. But in reality, it's love. It's love for, it's that connection that we feel. We can even feel it on a platform as cold and dirty as this, where we know our family, we know our origins, we know our connections, we know that there's something bigger here, and that we can feel it from people across the oceans. We can feel it from seeing a child's eyes, light up, on a screen across the world that's suffering from war. So this is the heart, and Cancer is the deepest emotions. And so you might find yourself processing old grief, old patterns, old familial hurts and pains that have been caused by cold, harsh governments, cold, harsh regulations, incarceration, having to flee nations. This is the heart of the people. And when we're in a time period like this, it's expected that it's going to be heavy. It's expected that you're going to feel things. And the more that we can feel and process and allow to come through us from our great-grandparents, from, my great-grandmother's father was a miner, and went into the coal mines, to feed his family. So it's like these types of things, the heaviness of that's within us. We feel that somewhere in our body, in our energy field. And when we process it and when we allow it to move through and when we allow ourselves to feel the grief, that's when we can get to our personal power. And that's when we can get to the place where we find pathways of freedom. We find pathways of sovereignty. We find pathways of seeing all the traps that we've fallen into so that we don't fall into them again. And again, we're in this time period until 2023. So it's kind of laughable as an astrologer how many people ask you, okay, so now things are going to get easier. So now things are going to get better. And the reality is they don't get better or worse. They just get us to where we need to go. And where we need to go right now, it's intense places, and it's going to be intense until it's all deconstructed. So the best way for us to do this is to free ourselves individually. It's the whole Bob Marley quote, which comes from, I love, so if you look up Bob Marley and where it comes from, a lot of his most famous lyrics are actually from, I wish I could Google it really quickly for you, but there's an amazing man where they come from. And of course, Bob Marley was the sharer of that message. But it's really important to understand that there is bigger work happening through a lot of the people that we love and appreciate. And so one of the things Bob Marley says is we can only free ourselves, right? It's from mental slavery. And so this is big. This is the time period that we're in. It's bigger than this full moon, but this full moon is it's this portal, and it is this connection point to where we've been and where we've been the past few years into where we're going into the next few years. And with that being said, if you're not feeling things right now, if you're avoiding feeling, if you're noticing kind of reaching and stretching and trying to grasp and grab and get away from and run from and not sit with, not be with, that's the sign that you're avoiding freedom. That's the sign that you're avoiding the very thing that you deserve and that you want. And so the more you can sit with and be with and allow to flow through and allow yourself to feel in your body, the more freedom you're going to come to. And I'm not going to go on to that too much because we all know it is important. So, and my kids are on their way. So really quickly, let me talk about other transits with this full moon and ways to work with me if you're curious about working with me. So if you're curious about working with me, feminine leadership, I'm doing a live round starting in March. I will be talking more about it more. There's early registration if you just know you want to be in community for 3 months. It's a 3-month program, March to whenever 3 months ahead is. And you know you want to be in a community of women, and you know that you are curious about your own archetypes in astrology to amplify your leadership skills and your ability to lead yourself and your ability to lead your family and all of those things. So if you're interested in that, reach out. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one with the combination of astrological, deep somatic, all of the things I'm talking about, feeling the feelings, getting into the root, clearing so you can have more freedom. And, shine brighter. If you're interested in working with me, reach out. There is 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month one-on-one options to work together. And yes, I have a lot of other courses, and I will be doing a one-time workshop probably next month that I will be talking more about. So just stay tuned. If you're not already following, hit the follow button on my page so that you can see my stuff. It's a good idea just because the algorithms and all the things. So, okay, other transits with this full moon, and then I'll pull a card. We know that Mercury just went retrograde. I have a whole other video on that. If you're curious, you can check that out. And so the moon is at 27 degrees for this full moon. Again, look to where that is in your chart, 27 degrees of Cancer. And you also want to look at the opposite, 27-ish degrees of Capricorn. And the sun, Juno, who is the goddess of commitment, the goddess of commitment is with Pluto. So what that says to me is that our conscious awareness is committed to kind of playing along with what's been happening and kind of feeling hopeless, and maybe some things about things are never going to change, or I'm just meant to fit into the system that's already here. All of those things might be coming up for you. It's all BS. It's because Juno is the goddess of commitment, and she might be committing to things that are not serving the highest good. So really pay attention to the emotions and what feels right and what feels good. If you're trying to turn that down in order to play the game or fit into the system, that's your indication that you're going backwards. To go forwards, we need to go to the uncomfortable, but it usually feels good, exciting, lighting you up, expansive, okay? So that's all happening. And then Mercury and Saturn are in a conjunction. Mercury just went retrograde, so it will be moving off of Saturn, only then to then go back over Saturn. And when Mercury and Saturn are together, the communication can be a little wonky. You can be hard on others and yourself. It's very important to pay attention to your self-talk and how you're talking to your children, your friends, your community. That with a square to Uranus, we just saw Uranus is going to be going direct as well. We just saw a huge, massive eruption in the ocean. That's very Uranian. Uranian is the unexpected. You can't plan it. And so when this unexpected element is going direct during this time, there can be unexpected emotions, unexpected things that come up, or people that come in. And it's really important to just be open to that and not try to control it, because Uranian energy is uncontrollable. So those are the main things with this full moon. The fact that Mars is also very close to the galactic center, which is kind of bringing this very otherworldly energy, this very intuitive energy into this full moon. Cancer's already very intuitive, but the information that's coming through is our galactic ancestors, our galactic community wanting to communicate with us. So you might notice downloads, dreams, visions, insights, little whisperings. Last night I was getting a few. Maybe you're getting some too. So it's really important to listen to those and see what comes through for you. Okay, let's pull a card for these full moon. So this full moon is, I don't know the date. What is today's date? It's tomorrow, I think. Yeah. So it's tomorrow. And so this is a great time to look at what you're wanting to clear away. Feeling the feeling. It is a water full moon, and it is in its home sign. So it's extra potent. This is a really great full moon to literally create kind of something that you bury in the ground, or something that you don't flush. I've learned not to tell people to flush things down the toilet because it's really bad for plumbing, but letting something biodegradable go down the river that you're ready to release. It's a releasing full moon. It's releasing a lot of emotions. So if emotions are coming through, that is the healthy sign that you are clearing what you need to clear. not be intimidated by your own emotions. There's so much conditioning around feeling and emotion. So that's what I'll say about that. And, and this is also about vulnerability and where vulnerability is a strength, and we're conditioned to believe that it's a weakness. But in reality, it's only those that can be vulnerable that know that they can handle and deal with the things that come up from being vulnerable. And if you're armoring, like I even think of our clothing sometimes can be this armor. If you're armoring yourself to not feel, I have a great free training on my website that is about getting into, for men and women, it's about getting into your feminine and de-armoring yourself. This vulnerability is a huge piece to our freedom and to our courage. And it's really coming up strong. We have the Lunar New Year at the end of this month, which is super powerful. And this full moon is clearing out a lot so that we can step forward into who we need to be and who we need to show up as. So just listen to the inklings that are coming in, journal. If you don't already have the planetary planner, you can get it. You can get the digital version on my website or the printed version. And that helps you just have some journaling prompts around these new and full moons, the Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde. And then lastly, 2 days after this full moon, the nodes are shifting signs, which is a huge thing. I'll have a whole separate video for that. Well, you know, when I'm busy with the astrology videos that there's a lot happening. So there's a lot happening. Take good care of yourselves. Reach out if you want support. And just sending you all love.